The latest generation fighter jets, refueling tankers in their dozens, a massive naval deployment including 2 aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, seen here, and the Gerald Ford, both along with a fleet of destroyers and frigates. These are the US forces deployed to the Middle East and taking part in the strikes on Iran, offensive reinforcements for the ongoing war. They're for defense, too, of the major US military presence in and around the region and all its infrastructure. That's been a priority target for Iranian attacks since the beginning of the conflict. But the US has had a footprint in the Middle East since long before shots were fired in the latest war, in allied nations like Qatar, which has stood by its commitments despite coming under repeated Iranian bombardment.
The strategic partnership, not only with the US, but all of our defense partners in the world, is not up for question. We have taken the decision to strategically ally ourselves in this way as part of a wider regional security framework.
Built in 1996, Qatar hosts the Al Udeid Air Base, the home of CENTCOM, US Central Command of its Middle Eastern forces since 2006. It's a major hub for refueling aircraft, bombers and troop transports, not to mention airborne reconnaissance and surveillance, and around 10,000 personnel. There's a similar contingent in nearby Bahrain, but this one for naval forces, present since 1948. The US Fifth Fleet's headquarters is at one of the archipelago's ports, where deep water allows all kinds of vessels to dock. The US Air Force and Navy are also allowed access to bases in Oman. And in the United Arab Emirates, the Al Dhafra base supports aerial operations, including combat Reaper drones. Kuwait also has its share of Reapers, with barracks hosting different US Army Corps. 13,000 troops make it the largest contingent in the region. It's also where the first 6 US service members died in the conflict on March 1st. Saudi Arabia only hosts 2,300 personnel, mostly at Prince Sultan Base. It's home to both Patriot interceptor missiles and the THAAD high-altitude defense system, both tied into Saudi air defense. It's a partnership with the Gulf monarchies that goes hand in hand with trade relations, as Donald Trump's visit last year demonstrated.
This is a record tour. There's never been a tour that will raise, it could be a total of $3.5, $4 trillion. This, just in this 4 or 5 days.
Iraqis remember all too keenly US forces' occupation of their nation from 2003 to 2011, and just one base remains now. In the north, close to Erbil, the capital of Iraqi Kurdistan. Tehran's drones and pro-Iranian Shia factions have repeatedly targeted it since the beginning of the war. The US military pulled out of the Ain al-Assad base in the western Al-Anbar province earlier this year. It played a key role in the struggle against the Islamic State group over the border in Syria, itself hosting US units in the same fight, along with the use of Jordan's Muwafaq Salti airbase. Other sites retain an air of secrecy, such as a surveillance facility in Israel, an observation post in the Egyptian Sinai, or Incirlik Air Base in Turkey that can handle nuclear-capable bombers. Finally, the United States can also field a projection force from the Horn of Africa, which is based in Djibouti's Camp Lemonnier. The US has left a sizable footprint across the Middle East, one that links the destiny of each hosting nation to geopolitical choices made in Washington and to the anger of Tehran and its regional proxies.